Chapter 5. Rain, rain. When we got rain. Now remember, make a question out of that. When did they get rain? What happened when they got rain? Where did they get rain from? Always ask yourself a question from the chapter title if it has one, because then that gives you an idea of what you're going to be looking for, what you're going to be listening for while you're reading the chapter. Now, I will tell you about when we got rain. On the Friday before Thanksgiving last year, I was waiting for my father to come home from the Luck of the Irish. I knew he was at the Luck of the Irish because it was 7:49 p.m., which meant that the J&R garage had been closed for 2 hours and 49 minutes. I had made hamburgers that night, and I had already eaten mine because I don't like to eat dinner after 6:45 p.m. What was for dessert was popsicles, and I had already eaten my popsicle, which was a High Crest brand orange burst. I was studying my list of homonyms when I saw headlights circle around the kitchen, and I heard a car pulling to our driveway. I decided that it was my father's car. Next, I heard a door slam. Then I heard another door slam, and I decided that my father had brought Sam Diamond home with him. Sam Diamond is a man who drinks at the Luck of the Irish with my father and sometimes comes here to sleep on our living room couch. After a few seconds, I heard footsteps on the front porch, and then I heard a sound like a whine, which was not a sound that I had ever heard Sam Diamond make. I sat at the table and stared at the door. My father appeared in the porch window. "Rose, for God's sake, get up off your butt and come help me," he yelled. I didn't want to help my father with Sam Diamond, but when I opened the front door and looked out through the screen at the rainy night, I saw that my father was standing on the porch holding a thick rope in his left hand, and that at the other end of the rope was a dog. The passenger in the car had been the dog, not Sam Diamond. The rope was tied around the dog's neck. The dog was very wet. "Where did you find a dog?" I asked my father. "Behind the Luck of the Irish. Could you bring a towel out here so I can dry her off?" "The dog is a she?" I asked. "Yes, the towel." This was my father's way of reminding me to get the towel to dry off the wet dog. "And don't bring a white towel," my father called after me. "She's muddy." I brought a green towel to the porch and watched through the screen door while my father wiped the dog's feet and back. "She's for you," he said to me. "You can keep her." "She isn't wearing a collar," I replied. "That's why she's yours. She's a stray." "But shouldn't we look for her owners?" I asked. "They might want her back." "If they didn't care enough to get her a collar, then they don't deserve her," said my father. "Besides, how would we find her owners? She doesn't have a collar, so she doesn't have any tags." "Is she a gift?" I wanted to know. "What?" said my father. He stopped wiping the dog for a moment. "Yes, she's a gift, Rose. She's my gift to you." My father had not given me many gifts. The dog stood patiently while my father wiped her fur. She lifted her front feet one at a time when he held out the towel. Then she gazed at me and lifted her eyebrows up and down. She panted, and when she panted, she stretched her lips wide so that she looked like she was smiling. "All right," my father said to the dog, "you're dry enough to go inside." He held the door open, and the dog walked into the living room, which is really just part of the kitchen. And she leaned against my legs. I stared down at her. She stared up at me. "You can pet her," said my father. "That's what normal people do with dogs." So I petted her, and she closed her eyes and pressed in closer. "What are you going to name her?" asked my father. "I will name her Rain," I replied. "You found her in the rain, and rain has two homonyms, rain, R-E-I-G-N, and rain, R-E-I-N, so it's a special word." "That's great, Rose. And what about a thank you?" "Thank you." That night, Rain slept in bed with me. She has slept with me every night since then.